How's it going, guys? JP here. Welcome back to another video in my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection series. Basically what we're doing here is we're going to go and talk about each and every film that I own individually. We're going to talk briefly about each film. So yes, this series is going to take quite a while because we're spending, moments a piece on each film. So yeah, it's going to be fun though. People seem to like this better than just showing the title and moving on. We get to hear my opinions and talk a little bit about the films in the comments, so that's always fun. By the way, I apologize for my appearance. I'm feeling pretty crappy right now. It's very hot, very sticky in here. I need to turn the fan on, but the sound will carry over onto the camera, so I'm not going to do that. And I'm sure you guys don't really care about what I look like, but I'm feeling a bit scrubby right now is what I'm trying to say, so I apologize for that. Anyway, let's jump into this part. This is part number 4, and the first film that I have is Carnal. Now, I just reviewed this one in my 7 Days of Horror. I also just put it in my last DVD and Blu-ray update, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Just know that this film sucked. It's not very good at all. It's very boring, and I believe I gave it like a 1.5 out of 10. It's pretty damn awful. And on the polar opposite of things, we have Bug, which this film is 100% awesome. This is one of the best films I've seen in recent memory. It is fantastic. I normally don't say this, but go out and get this film right now. It is a great, great movie. It's not so much a horror film, but it has some kind of dark elements to it, and I don't want to say too much, but if you want to see insanity captured on screen in a realistic way, this is the film to check out. It really did kind of blow my mind. By the way, I got this by accident. I ordered Bugs, B-U-G-S, off of Go Hastings, and they sent me this. Then, I called and told them, and then they sent me the film that I wanted, but they let me keep this one. So I'm so glad they did, because this is an awesome movie. This is, nearly a 10 out of 10 for me. It's, 9.5 out of 10. This is so good. After that, we have Children of the Living Dead, and this film is pretty awful. To me, this one always felt weird because in my head, I always pictured it like it was a mid-90s, early 90s film, and really this came out in like 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. So it kind of always feels older than that to me, but it's not, and it's pretty bad. The best part is Tom Savini has a character in this film, and he's pretty entertaining, but that's about it. Quickly after that, it goes, downhill, and there's not much to it. After that, we have Chud, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, and Chud is awesome. I love the dirty, grimy, filthy, disgusting New York, and I'm sure I'll say that a few more times in this video series, because I have a few other films that take place in 80s, 90s New York, which is the best. If there was more films shot in New York during that time period, I want to see them, because I just love it. I think it's the best atmosphere for a horror movie. It's so gross, and Chud is definitely a dirty film. It's pretty filthy, actually. So yeah, Chud, it's one that as I keep watching, I like more and more. So I've probably seen it about 3 or 4 times now, and it's a fun movie. It's a cool little creature feature set in New York. Daniel Stern is pretty awesome in it. Chud is pretty cool. After that, we have Christine, and this film on the outside, when you first hear about it, killer car, it kind of might throw you off a bit because that's kind of a silly idea, but for some reason I think it works so well in this film, and it's not necessarily about the car, but it's about the de-evolution of a character, and you're kind of watching him to go, spiral into this, dark character, and that's what I like about it. And man, this is honestly becoming one of my favorite Carpenter films. Christine's pretty awesome. I really enjoyed Christine. I wish Twilight Times wouldn't have the rights so we could actually get a Blu-ray here that everybody could get. Anybody who follows me knows that I cannot stand that company. I think it's borderline criminal to hold films and deny people from seeing them in you know, whatever way. I know you could still grab the DVD, but you're still denying people seeing it to a certain extent, so you know, that really pisses me off. After that, we have Cold Prey. Jeremy actually sent me this one, so shout out to NES Roller 22, awesome dude. And Cold Prey, man, this one was pretty damn interesting. I really want to pick up the sequel. I hear it does the whole Halloween 2 thing where it picks up, you know, right after the first film. I actually really enjoy Cold Prey. It's definitely fun. I want to say it's like Norwegian or something, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, it's awesome. After that, we have The Collector, which I just recently watched for the first time, and gotta say, I really enjoyed it. There was a few problems and issues with me here and there. A lot of things where it just felt like, you know, even though this house is kind of big, it just seemed ridiculous to me that these characters were able to walk around and avoid each other and not bump into each other in a house, you know, not making noise walking down hallways and upstairs and stuff. It was just a little ridiculous to me, but overall, I mean, it has some fantastic kills, you know, awesome, you know, actually creepy moments, and it just looks good. It filmed pretty well. There's a lot of shots that, you know, go above walls and stuff that I really enjoyed. So yeah, this is a great movie. For all the couple flaws and problems I have with it, it still is a solid watch. After that, we have The Covenant, and this one kind of held up better. And this is one of those cases where you watch a film and you really enjoy it, and then you don't see it for years later, and you watch it again and you're like, it was not as good as I remembered. And this one felt like kind of over stylized to me, and you know, that kind of threw me off a bit, and you know, felt very like mainstreamy, you know, barely horror, PG-13 stuff, but it had some cool ideas, and if they would have really took it to the next level and played around with a few things and not worried about, you know, ratings and stuff, I think this could have been a really strong film. But you know, it's still okay. After that, we have Creepy Crawlers. This also goes by the title, I think, They Nest. And that's the title I knew it under. I watched it on Sci-Fi a few times back when it, you know, was new, back in the year 2000. And it was always one that I kind of enjoyed. You know, a killer bug movie that isn't, you know, completely relying on CGI. There's still a lot of CGI, but I mean, it's actually not too bad for, you know, that sci-fi style movie. This one's okay. After that, we have The Creeps. This one is, yeah, it's one of those full moons that doesn't really stick out as, you know, a classic, but it's still better than their worst stuff. The Creeps is okay. I remember there was a long nude scene, if I believe I'm thinking of the right thing. Got this vampire guy who, the little vampire guy's played in a few things before, so he's a familiar face. I mean, the idea of this could have been way cooler. They just, you know, it was, yeah, it's kind of forgettable. After that, we have Creepshow, and who doesn't love Creepshow? Creepshow's awesome. They're creeping up on you. Such a great story. I actually really enjoy the Stephen King story too, with the green moldy grass stuff growing everywhere. I really like that story. I think it's kind of has this darkness to it that you kind of lose. It kind of you know, the comedy kind of hides it, but it's kind of like a kind of a sad story, to be honest. It's kind of tragic. So Creepshow is really awesome. It's one of the best anthologies out there. It's probably the go-to anthology. It's the one everybody thinks of when you say the word anthology. After that, of course, we have Creepshow 2, which The Raft is definitely my favorite segment. That is just a solid segment. The first time I watched that, it was really creepy. Of course, Creepshow 2 is, you know, it's classic as well. I actually really like the Old Chief Woodenhead story, which a lot of people don't like. It works for me. I enjoy it. After that, we have Critters, and Critters are pretty awesome. You know, they're like kind of the in the era of all the Gremlin ripoffs like Ghoulies and Munchies and, you know, Critters, and probably the best one of those. You know, out of all the ripoffs, Critters is probably the best. Very solid. It's a fun little movie. It's nothing amazing, and I feel like this one doesn't hold up with repeat viewings when you start watching it a bunch of times. It kind of doesn't hold up for me, but it still is pretty fun. After that, we have Critters 2, which is also fun. It's you know, it's a sequel, and it kind of ups the ante a bit in terms of the critters and a few things. There's a really cool scene with a Freddy standee, and I really enjoyed that because this is a New Line Cinema, of course, and you know, they had the rights to Freddy, so they was able to do a fun little scene with that, and I really enjoyed that scene. Critters 2, pretty fun. Then we have Critters 3 with old Leonardo DiCaprio, who's making his film debut. This one isn't as good as the first two in my opinion, but it still has its moments, and you know, it's Critters. They're fun. They are like little fun films. They're nothing amazing. They're, you know, kind of average in terms of story and stuff, but they're fun. Good films to watch with kids. If you have, you know, kids or little cousins or something that you don't want to give them the hardcore stuff, I just give mine the hardcore stuff anyway. We go straight to Nightmare on Elm Street. First time I meet you and your kid, and you know, your parents don't care, you're instantly watching Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that. But, you know, if you care about that, you know, being a little safer, go with Critters. Critters is a great film to start with. After that, we have Chucky, the box set. We have Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, and Seed of Chucky. I will eventually upgrade to the Blu-ray set, but I already own Curse of Chucky on Blu-ray and Child's Play on Blu-ray, so I'm really only doing it for 2 and 3, because those are the only two films that I really like out of the other 4. So I'm just not ready to upgrade yet, but if I could find the set cheap, I eventually will. Child's Play 2 is a great follow-up. I love that sequel. I love the ending and the factory. It's so solid. Child's Play 3, I find it's decent. It really is. I like Child's Play 3. It is a bit of a step down, but it's still pretty solid. I like the military academy setting and stuff. Bride of Chucky I liked more before Seed of Chucky came out. To me, once Seed of Chucky came out, I started noticing all these, you know, things in Bride of Chucky that eventually led to Seed of Chucky, and it just kind of annoys me when I watch it. So Bride of Chucky I'm not that into anymore. Seed of Chucky I absolutely hate. I think it's terrible. It's a terrible sequel. It's one of the worst in my opinion. Out of all like the big franchises, Seed of Chucky is like one of the worst sequels besides, you know, some of those Hellraiser sequels. And finally, for this part, we have Children of the Corn. Children of the Corn is classic. This is some good stuff here. I found that sometimes it comes off a bit dated when you rewatch it, if you watch it consistently, but definitely once every few years, it still is creepy. The beginning scene where the kids are killing all the parents still creeps me out. I love cult horror, like, you know, with religious type cults. I think they are creepy as shit. There's nothing scarier to me than just these crazily overly religious people, you know, people that are just religious extremists. They just creep the hell out of me, that they are willing to do whatever to you know, enforce what they believe in. It just creeps me out. So that's it for this part, guys. Children of the Corn is definitely a classic. I'll see you guys in part number 5. Peace.